Hey guys, what's going on? This is Roth with Joshua.
Hello.
Hello. We're going to talk a little Aquaman. So Zack Snyder, who hates to sleep and doesn't want any of us to sleep, last night tweeted out the first image of Aquaman. So we're going to unpack it. We're just going to give our little bit of our initial gut reaction, what we think this will mean for the movie, what we think this will mean for the character overall. We'll talk about what we maybe think that Unite the Seven means, and then later we will have a rewind that really goes into detail on this costume.
Yeah, we'll dissect the costume a bit later, but now this is just, what do we think of this?
What do you think?
I like it. I think it's pretty cool. I think he's so sexy. Look at him. He's like small. This could be a GQ cover if GQ was around in like the medieval times. But yeah, he looks really cool. He's definitely evoking like this warrior look. Actually, it strikes me as sort of the Thor of the Justice League, who's, you know, this big hulking guy who comes from a place where they dress a little funny.
Yeah, I mean, to me, it's funny because the tribal look of it actually feels, it's scales. You can tell that the tattoos are meant to be scales, but it does feel actually a little earthbound to me because it's like tribal warrior kind of feel to me.
Yeah.
But I really do like the look of when Jason Momoa was cast. I was very, very excited about it. I think that you can see that I like Jason Momoa.
She's wearing a Conan 3D shirt, by the way, if you can't tell.
Okay, that movie didn't serve him well, but he would have been a great Conan, damn it. We'll move on from that. Most people know him as Khal Drogo. He has from Game of Thrones, he just has an inherent sort of hulking, he's a big guy, massive, masculinity, fighter, warrior, brute strength sort of about him. So it's going to be interesting to me, and when I see this, obviously that's why they cast him, because that's what they're going for.
Yeah, they wanted Khal Drogo to be Aquaman.
They wanted Khal Drogo to be Aquaman. And even if you look at him, I can't tell if it's blonde or gray, but he looks like a grizzled warrior. Like he has a ton of experience.
I think you called it like sort of a Poseidon look to him.
He does look like, and that's obviously in line with Aquaman, but he does feel very Poseidon-like to me, you know, who is a god.
Yeah.
So bring it back to Thor. So I think what'll be really interesting to me is to see his dynamic with these other heroes. You know, I feel like there's going to be a lot of like push and pull for power.
He's a king and he's coming amongst these people. It's actually funny in the New 52 comics, Aquaman comes out of the water and he's like, I think I should lead this team. He feels like you need a leader. That should be me.
Yeah, and I feel like this is the guy that would say exactly that, you know, and it'll be interesting to watch Superman, who's obviously got a ton of power.
Yes.
And Batman, who is Batman.
He's Batman.
Sort of all the three of them at the very least, and then you got Wonder Woman. All of them sort of vying for position and control, which we saw a little bit in the Avengers as well, in the first Avengers movie, but it feels like it's even going to be maybe even more combative here. What do you think? I am taking a lot away from one image, a lot.
Yeah, he's definitely not someone who's like very like political and it's like, oh, let's just all make our decisions together. So he's very authoritative. And I think it's a different feel for Aquaman that we don't normally get from the character. People are used to like the Saturday morning cartoon Aquaman. Obviously, people who only know him from like Super Friends or even like the more recent animated features or like Batman Brave and the Bold. If you were to see this, you'd be like, that's not Aquaman at all. But and again, I think on purpose is that they want to get away from like sort of all the fish jokes and stuff about how useless he is and show that this is an awesome man that you'll want to be, and people want to be Batman, Superman. And they don't want kids and people just to be like, no, I want to be Aquaman.
Yeah, it's a very aspirational sort of like, I mean, he looks like a badass.
Yeah.
I mean, he really does. But the thing is, too, I think it's very much in line with the images that we've seen released today. Like, obviously, Wonder Woman is a fighter, but she looked very martial in that image. You know what I mean? She really looked like a warrior, which she is.
But they were,
but they were very much going for that. I wasn't there in Hall H when they showed the teaser at Comic-Con, but everything I read about it was obviously the two of them were battling. I mean, this feels like it's just going to be a very combative sort of dynamic until he maybe unites the Seven, but we'll get to that.
Let's talk about it right now.
Let's talk about it right now.
What does Unite the Seven mean?
What does Unite the Seven mean? I mean, we have some theories. Let's talk about them.
My first theory is just that it's, Unite the Seven Seas, because there's 7 seas, because he's king of Atlantis in the water. Second one would be Unite the 7 Justice League members, because we know there's 7 Justice League members that are going to be in these movies. And then my third is that there are actually 7 golden Atlantean artifacts, this trident being one of them. And so he might be on a personal mission to assemble those and like collect those up. I don't know if that last one is it. But I'll actually have this theory to where it all fits together. All three theories is that maybe being from you sort of Atlantean kingdom that are sort of behind the times. That he might have like a prophecy or something like that, and the prophecy would be to unite the seven, and that would be to, and he thinks as king that it's to unite the seven seas, like all the
from the underwater oracle.
Yes, the underwater people, and from the underwater oracles, yes, and but maybe once he meets all these heroes, he goes, maybe I'm supposed to unite the seven Justice League members.
Right.
But then when we get into a solo movie, he's like, oh, wasn't that at all? It's I need to unite these seven golden Atlantean artifacts, and that becomes like the mission of his movie. I don't know. I just made all that up, but it sort of fits all three things in.
It's a fun story.
It could be anything.
It could be anything. I mean, I will say, and I think that I told you this before, it's like if I'm looking at it just from a marketing perspective, and he is releasing the first image of Aquaman for Batman vs. Superman: Dawn of Justice, which is leading into Justice League, possibly his two movies leading into Justice League, I would say good money is that he's talking about uniting the Justice League.
Yes, if I were a betting man,
yeah.
I'd bet on the Justice League theory.
And we haven't seen any sort of verbiage on the images released to date. But another interesting idea that you had was that if, say, we get an image of the Flash and there is some kind of wording on it, maybe they'll be teasing not only this movie, possibly two movies, but their individual stories as well. So you could be right. Maybe it's sort of serving two purposes.
Yeah, if I think if there's more text on like the Flash image or the Cyborg image or whatever, then that will put this into more context.
Yeah.
Like if it's a personal statement or something going towards the Justice League.
Yeah. I really, really, really like it overall. I've liked the look of all of the characters that we've seen to date. I like the color tone. We'll talk. I know you'll talk about that a little bit more.
Yeah, we'll break down this image. Check out our rewind.
Yeah. Well, it's black and white, but I mean, I sort of like that metallic Marshall feel that we're getting to all of these images. I'm really excited for them to release the teaser. When are you going to release the teaser? But overall, yes, thumbs up?
Yes, thumbs up. I do think overall the look is a little too busy for me. Like there's tattoos and armor and like all this stuff going on. Maybe once I see it in action, it'll be better. Like I remember when we saw the Quicksilver image, where I was like, oh, this looks stupid. But then it was awesome. He was the best part of the movie. So maybe, yeah. But overall, I do like it. I think you could dress Jason Momoa up in anything, and as long as he has that look on his face, it's gonna look awesome.
It's basically gonna work. I mean, this is why the man was cast.
I think they ultimately wanted to make Aquaman not a joke, but a badass, and I think they succeeded with this image.
Absolutely, and it's gonna be really interesting to see how Batman deals with him and Superman. But anyway, more on that to come for all things Aquaman. Keep it locked right here to IGN and let us know what you think in the comments below.